Hello everyone, hi, this is Justin again. So today in this JS property series, I'll be doing a series of video to share with all the buyers what you should actually look out for, especially in today's market, because you know that there's a lot of uncertainty in the market and buyers are actually more aware of what is ongoing and what actually they are looking out for. So in this video, I'll be sharing one of the important factors that what a lot of buyers have concern in, which is harmonization. All right, let's move on to the slide. All right, so for harmonization, one question that I think a lot of buyers are thinking whether are harmonized project always better? Why? Because end of the day, we need to understand this before we make our decision. And why is it important to know this? Because imagine if you are not aware of what you are getting into, you may be stuck for the next 3, 5, 7 or even 10 years. And all your hard-earned money are being stuck inside the property. So end of the day, I would like to use this video to actually reach out to all of you to let you have a better understanding of how harmonization may affect your price going forward. So of course, before we go into the analysis and the video itself, what is harmonization? So basically in a nutshell, harmonization means the end of the day, whatever the developer is going to build in terms of the strata area, it must be usable. So for example, for harmonization, the most noticeable area that what makes the difference between pre-harmonization and post-harmonization will be your aircon ledge. Meaning to say that any harmonized project, aircon ledge will not be calculated inside the strata area itself. Alright, so like I mentioned, basically I'll be doing comparison between a pre-harmonized and a harmonized project. So in this comparison, I've actually laid out two layouts of two bedder. So in terms of the harmonized project, this is at 527 square feet, and the pre-harmonized unit that we're looking at is 623 square feet. So in terms of the difference in the size, basically we can see that there's a good 100 square feet difference. So importantly, if we just look at the two layout itself, we will not be able to tell where exactly the main difference between these two layout and where does this 100 square feet actually goes to. That's why end of the day, it's important for us to analyze and know where exactly the space goes to and what actually are you paying for. Alright, so that's why over here I actually break down into the size of individual space of the particular layout itself. So like I mentioned, for the 527 square feet and the 624 or 623 square feet, so over here it actually breaks down into your living, balcony, master, bedroom 2, master bath, and last of all, the aircon ledge. So if you really look into the breakdown of each individual space itself, so in terms of the living and the kitchen area, the pre-harmonized unit, which is around 624 square feet, it gives you slightly bigger space in terms of your living kitchen area. However, if you really look into your bedroom 2, slightly smaller, your master bath will give you a little bit of 0.3 square meter difference in size. But most importantly, I want you to take a look at this, which is your aircon ledge. And the aircon ledge is actually taking up 3.8 square meter of space, which is not included inside the harmonized layout itself. So that's why over here, your aircon ledge is not included inside the space. So if you look at the space in terms of the total usable space, the harmonized unit, which is 527 square feet, is around 49 square meter, whereas the 624 square feet usable space is about 53 square meter. So the total difference in terms of square meter we are talking about is about 4.6 square meter. However, most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the price difference. So as you can see over here, the highest transacted for the harmonized unit 527 square feet is 1.306 million, whereas the non-harmonized or the pre-harmonized unit was transacted highest at 1.571. So there is a difference of about 200,000. And with the difference of 4.6 square meter, 200,000 more, you are paying the additional space, which mainly goes into your aircon ledges, 4,000 square feet. So imagine, ladies and gentlemen, you are paying $4,000 per square foot for your aircon ledge, which is non-usable. So end of the day, if you ask me, based on this comparison itself, basically this is your advantage of going for a harmonized unit. However, like I mentioned during my initial video itself, does it mean that all harmonized projects are always better? Now, let's take a look at the next comparison. Over here, I have two 3-bedder unit, both at the same size, 1023 square feet, pre-harmonized or post-harmonized, both at the same size. And if you look at the transaction, the harmonized project was transacted at 2.425 million, whereas your non-harmonized project highest transacted was only 2.399. So remember what I said, ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, you must know where your size goes to and what are you paying for. That's why for this 3-bedder, I have also list out the breakdown of space within the two layout itself. So like I mentioned, this is your harmonized, this is your non-harmonized unit. Right now, let us go into the breakdown of the size. So my living, dining, household shelter, balcony, master, bedroom 2 and 3, bath, last of all, aircon latch. So if you notice over here, the harmonized unit, you have a slightly bigger living room. You got a household shelter. Of course, end of the day, we talk about the aircon latches is not included. Whereas if you look at the pre-harmonized unit, you are paying for the aircon latch space, all right? You are having a slightly bigger master bedroom. Both common bedroom are bigger as well. And last of all, you are not paying for the extra household shelter. So ladies and gentlemen, like I said, both at 1023 square feet, highest transacted for the harmonized unit, which is at 2.425 million, and pre-harmonized unit, which is at about 2.4 million. So the difference over here, 95 square meter versus your 89.5 square meter, your total difference in size is about 5.5 square meter, and the main difference in terms of size goes largely into your household shelter, which means that for the extra of $150,000 that you're paying for, $2,500 per square foot largely goes into your household shelter. So end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this $2,500 per square foot, you are paying for this extra space of this household shelter. Then you need to ask yourself this question: is it worth paying for this household shelter for $2,500 per square foot when your usable space of your living, dining, bedroom are only about $2,000 per square foot? So based on these two layouts, in terms of the breakdown of the space itself, I would personally feel that the pre-harmonized unit will definitely make more economical sense in terms of the usable space, in terms of what you are paying for. That's why right now, the golden question is, are you confused? Do you know how to select? So do you know how to select whether a pre-harmonized project or post-harmonized project will actually gives you a better value? So as you can see, based on the two comparison between the 2 and 3 bedroom, between the pre-harmonized and post-harmonized layout, main thing is you need to understand where exactly the extra space, the extra dollar and cents you are paying for. If you are confused and you don't know how to select, or you don't know whether this layout in terms of the harmonized project, is it suitable, where did you pay for your dollar and cents, please feel free to reach out to me. And for the next video, I'll be sharing with you more of such content, so that end of the day, you will be able to gain all this knowledge before you make for your next property decision. All right, my name is Justin here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.